So, hello and welcome to the Cubing Couch. I'm here with Tingman. So, for the people out there that have no idea who you are, first of all, they're living under a rock. How would you describe yourself to them?
They may also not be cubers, which is totally fine. I'm a YouTuber. I think this is the first year that I can confidently say that without any disclaimers or anything, because it's my primary job now. So I've been on YouTube for a very long time, since nearly the beginning. But in the last 4 or 5 years, I've started to specialize, focus on cubing content. And so I am a Rubik's Cube YouTuber. In terms of what I rely on for, job-wise, I would say it's full-time. But in terms of how much time I actually spend on it during the week, I would say it's part-time. Because I'm also part-time studying right now. So I am part-time, full-time.
So what got you into YouTube to start with?
Always been interested in videos since I was a kid. So when YouTube, I don't think I'm that old, but I am older than most cubers. And so as soon as YouTube became available, I jumped straight on it because it was like, that's like a free way for me to host videos online. This is amazing. And so I think this year marks like my 16th or 17th year on YouTube, which is crazy to think that the platform is that old as well. So it was just my opportunity to put videos on. I think one of the first videos that I put on YouTube were magic tricks because I was really into that then. I also had a few really silly music videos that I had made with my friends that I put on very early in those early years. I have hidden pretty much all of those music videos now because I have too wide an audience to possibly appreciate the weirdness of those videos. The magic tricks are still there because those are fairly timeless. And then gradually over the years, my channel evolved in terms of it was just what I was interested in. So I had a lot of, I had how-tos. I had a lot of comedy, a lot of just funny things. And then when kids came along, the kids started getting featured and it was family vlogs, which indeed is how this whole cubing thing started.
You said 16 years. That's a very long time. So how do you think YouTube's changed in that time? What did it look like 16 years ago?
It's hard to think about YouTube itself as a platform. The main change to me has just been internet speeds in general. The fact that I can now upload stuff in less than overnight. That could have just been my internet speed. I remember having to upload, hit upload before I went to bed. And then if I was lucky, the video had uploaded by the time I woke up the next morning. And now it can have it a lot quicker. YouTube is a lot more friendly now. The YouTube algorithm also is creepily powerful and knows me probably better than I know myself. All up, I think it actually just makes YouTube a very comfortable, fun experience for the user. I think it's very much crafted for the user experience, and it's why I quite appreciate YouTube, both as a content creator, but also as someone who watches and consumes a lot of YouTube.
So, what got you into cubing? Where did you come across the Rubik's Cube?
So, I learned how to solve a cube I think when I was in high school. I don't know if learnt was the right word because I used, those little pieces of paper that drop out of the box when you take a cube out.
Yeah.
I literally learnt using one of those, and it was in Chinese, and I couldn't actually read all of the stuff there. And so I managed to figure out 3/4 of the instructions and basically got to the last layer. And the instructions for the last layer on that little sheet of paper. So this was I don't know, maybe the year 2000 or something like that. The instructions on that sheet of paper were just unintelligible. And so I knew 1 or 2 algorithms for that last layer, but it was unreliable and it relied a lot on luck. So I'd repeat, I now recognize the step that I was repeating to be the fru rough, F sexy, F prime.
Yeah.
And I would just repeat that over and over and over until I got a case that I recognized. And so that step could take anywhere from 2 seconds to 10 minutes. And then if I finally got that case that I recognized, then which I think was just like the Soon case. So I was literally just doing that until I randomly got the Soon case. From a while ago, I was always interested in cubing. And then fast forward like another, 10, 15 years, I was aware that speed cubes existed, but I just had no idea what they would feel like. And so, yeah, early 2018, I thought for my birthday, I'm going to treat myself and just buy a random speed cube off eBay and see how that goes. And the rest is history.
So you had a long period of time on YouTube where you knew how to cube, but you didn't make any like cubing content.
Yes, that's right. And to be fair, I didn't even know that cubing content existed. YouTube is just a plethora of niches. And, the stuff with broad appeal is what gets suggested to everyone on their homepage. But the little niches, like there's a multitude of videos out there on like caravans or on like how to change like how to fix your garage door, right? Like super niche stuff that if you didn't even know it existed, yeah, like why would you think that you would, make a video in that area? But when you discover it, you're like, wow, there are so many creators making like really amazing things. And so, yeah, I don't think I was even aware that speed cubing content existed on YouTube.
Okay, so you probably know what's coming next if you've seen some of the other episodes, but we're going to see how well Tingman knows himself.
Oh.
So I've got a few questions here based on your analytics, older videos maybe.
Yeah.
And we'll see how many you get right.
Okay, that's great. So I have actually watched all of your episodes, and I have no idea why I completely didn't think of this coming up for myself.
All right, we'll see how well you do then. So question 1, how many subscribers do you currently have?
I'm going to guess, as of this morning, 835,000.
That's right, yeah. How many total views do you have?
Oh. Maybe like 250 million?
So it's actually 374 million.
Oh,
So it's a lot more than what you thought it was.
That is a lot more than I thought it was. That's quite a bit.
So what is your most popular upload?
It is a YouTube short where I sing my way through every cube from a 1x1 to 19x19. That's the most popular YouTube short. If it's a video, it is One Cube Many Cubers.
Yeah, that's right. You got both there. How many views do you think the One Cube Many Cubers has?
20 million?
It has 23 million. So do I give him that? Yeah, I'll give you that. What's your first upload on the Tingman channel?
Yep, so right now it should be a card magic trick. I think it's McDonald's Aces, which, by the way, when I watch again right now, I actually don't even know how I did it. It's been that long. Like, I can't even remember the technique that I used to do it. So
16 years is a very long time, to be honest.
Yeah.
In One Cube Many Cubers, who was the last person to turn the cube?
Oh, easy. That's my daughter. Hello.
Correct. What was your first cubing short?
Oh, I think it was Felix versus my daughter. I made a short out of that.
That's correct. How many views do you think that got?
Maybe like a bit over 1 million.
1.2 million.
Yeah.
And then the last question, how many subs do you think you had this time last year?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think maybe this time last year. It's 2023. 300,000?
So it was 385,000.
Okay. Yeah, that's not that close.
I'll decide in editing whether or not that's close or not, and then I'll put the score up here somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay, that was not too bad. So, like, do you check your analytics often? Like, how often do you check them?
It depends on how busy I am in life in general, but I did take a deep dive into my analytics yesterday. So, lucky me. Yeah, probably on and off. I mean, I've been doing this game for a while now. I will say that I deleted YouTube Studio off my phone because that was, which I've now since heard a lot of like full-time YouTubers do as well, just to sort of break that cycle of like every time you pick your phone, you just like check analytics. So I can now only really look properly at my analytics if I go on my computer, and that's now less frequent during the day. But otherwise, it probably would still be at least once a day. The main things I'm looking for is probably just, the general overview that YouTube Analytics gives. And then just like, I guess, with every video that comes out, I'm sort of monitoring over the next maybe 3 days or so, just to make sure that I haven't really messed anything up. Like if it's got a really bad click-through rate, for example, it means that I just didn't get the title or thumbnail right. Or something about and that's stuff that's actionable stuff that I can work on right away. I can just fix it, the title or thumbnail. If it's something to do with like viewing, duration, retention, that's something which I can't change, but that's just information to tuck away for the next video. So yeah, I'd say I check it at least once a day, but I've taken steps to not be too obsessive about it, because I think that's a pitfall of any creator.
I feel like the way YouTube Studio's like structured can be quite toxic for some people, because it rates your video based on your last 10 videos or something. And sometimes making your video better than your last 10 videos might not be feasible for some people, based on like topics and that kind of stuff. So it might make the video look bad, even though, it was probably a perfectly fine video.
Yeah, that's right. I can understand why they do the rating system, but it can be a bit discouraging. I personally don't get too affected by it, thankfully. Like if the video is like 10 out of the last 10, like 10th place, then that probably is a bit discouraging. But like any other number, it's like, okay, because they just are different videos. I think that comparing myself to Mr. Beast just doesn't make any sense, just in terms of scale. But he makes videos that I imagine like every single one would be a banger and has no reason to like not do well. Whereas I know when I'm making a video that will do well, and I know when I'm making a video that's just quite niche and will probably be like a 9 out of 10, or like not 9 out of 10 in terms of quality, but in terms of the ranking, like out of the last 10 videos for those who are listening. And so if I release one of those more niche videos, and it doesn't do as well, sure, that's fine. I sort of expected that to happen. And it's sort of for a bit of a different audience. Like it's for people who are currently subscribed and not necessarily for like to be discovered or for like new viewers. And so I'm okay with that.
So what would you define as a good video for you?
It depends on what metric, I guess, we're looking at. So if we're talking in terms of views, then at my current state, if a video can hit like over 100,000 views within like a week or two, then that's a like pretty decent performing video for me. If it's in terms of like retention, like, the graph, I'm hoping that, I don't know, maybe 60-70% of people are still watching at a 30-second mark. This is like deep dives into like analytic stuff.
Yeah.
And then in terms of engagement,
CTR.
oh yeah, actually, I don't probably think about my click through as much as I should, or like maybe compare the numbers as much. I'm hoping for, like, when it first comes out within the first day, like I'm hoping for at least 10% click through rate. But probably the most meaningful one for me is the comments, and so that's a metric that's quite independent of all the others, because a video could perform quite poorly, like numerically, on all of those other metrics, but the comments are just like super heartwarming and super encouraging, and those videos to me, like those are the precious ones. So like, for example, when I made the video of when my son like first learned how to solve a cube, the very first sort of official Tingboy video, and like I think it was pretty decent. Like it was a pretty average video when it came out. It was neither like amazing nor bad, but the comments were like, they're so beautiful. It was just everyone cheering on Tingboy and just like being like, welcome Tingboy to the cubing community, and just saying, how proud I should be of him and all that stuff. And it's like, yeah, those are the best ones. Those are the precious videos. They mean so much more than the ones that hit millions of views and stuff, because I don't know. It's my family.
And another thing to like think about is that certain videos like spike immediately, and then there's other videos that just slowly climb throughout months or maybe years.
Mm-hmm.
And there's people that like refresh their YouTube every 5 minutes to see the number go up, when in fact they should probably look at it in terms of like the long term.
Yeah, hard to know. There are videos that for some reason only tend to get discovered after like a few weeks or a few months. However, I haven't noticed that recently. That most of my videos will get the majority of their views within that first week, and then it sort of tapers off. And, I mean, they all still continue to grow, but they're not like significant growth. I do have some videos that are pretty consistent with growth. Like they have a pretty good growth rate throughout like their entire lifetime, and they tend to be the large unboxings. For some reason, if I unbox 15 cubes or 25 cubes, like those videos just, I'm not sure why, they just tend to have broad appeal, I guess. There could be something about the thumbnail, but those videos tend to climb like years after they're released. They're still going. So yeah, I mean, I've thought about, doubling down on those videos, since those are the lucrative ones. Those are the ones that, really bring in the views. But I don't think that would be true to the heart of my channel if I just suddenly exclusively, from a business perspective, it makes sense to focus on that. But in terms of my heart and my just being true to my creativity and my mission, I suppose, of making wholesome videos, it doesn't really make sense. So I still make maybe one of those like each quarter. Yeah, just sort of retain that variety of videos. And I realize that I think that sometimes hurts my channel to have a fairly large variety of cubing content, but it's okay. I'm not really wanting to take over the world or make like millions of dollars. I'm already very blessed as I am with the size of my channel and the fact that I can rely on this for income now. So it's, I guess, now a combination of thinking business strategy, but also, creativity. Where would I like my creativity take me? And also, what does it mean to make wholesome, positive content on YouTube?
So like if a video was to tank or not do as well, would you ever like pivot your content based around the metrics that you decide what makes a video good or bad?
Yeah, possibly. The only time I've really done that and like maybe discontinued a series or something is when in the past, maybe if I've had stuff that's really not that cubing related. So several years ago, I made a bunch of videos that were about making videos. They were like tips with how to get good audio, and I think I even made a couple of videos on just being a YouTuber and like just your channel, managing a channel, and they didn't do as well. And it made sense to me to stop doing those because that's not the promise of my channel. Like when you come and when you see my channel banner and the videos that I make, it would just be a little bit strange if suddenly this is a video about like audio. As useful as, there are like people who still beg for me to continue that series. But I think it just doesn't make sense for me to do so. So those are the only times.
I was looking through your playlists on your channel a few days ago and I spotted that series and I decided to watch it and it wasn't too bad. So I feel like there is like a small audience for it maybe somewhere.
Yeah.
But maybe it's not the same audience as your regular cubing audience.
Yeah, that's right. It's a few years old now too. And it doesn't take long in the sort of like tech or creator space for videos to age. So there's already stuff in there that I would probably say differently or, recommend differently now.
So what a lot of people don't know is that this Tingman channel is not your only channel. So what sorts of other channels did you make and what kind of content did you make on those channels?
You may know better than me what all my channels are. It is by far my primary channel and the very first one that I made. And so along the way, let's see, I have made probably my next channel that I made was my teacher channel because I was a high school teacher for a very long time. So I've got a lot of videos on that channel that's just educational teaching content. The majority of which are hidden videos. So what you see on that channel, which is already like, I think, I don't know, maybe 50 or something videos. It's literally like 10% of all the videos that I've made on that channel. And then I have made, when my daughter was very young, I made a channel called Questions for Allah, which was just a cute kids channel where I asked her questions that she, would not have known the answer to. And so her answers were very cute because she just made them up. And that was cool. That went for a while. That died a natural death because she eventually reached an age where she knew the answers to most of those questions. And so it became less cute because then it was just facts instead of a kid making stuff up. And I also once made a channel for my son for him to like review games. And I think we put like 1 or 2 videos up. And yeah, just really haven't had the time to make more of that. But as far as I can remember, those are my other channels. Have I got more?
I not from my research. Okay. I didn't come up with anything.
Yeah.
But like, do you see yourself in the future maybe branching out to multiple channels, making content for more than one channel, as opposed to just like one primary Tingman channel?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've always thought because my interests are quite varied. As much as I love cubes, it's just one of my many hobbies. However, the time it would take to just channel upkeep and just being fair to the people who subscribe to that channel in terms of giving them what they subscribe for, I'm not sure if I'd be able to do that. And so that's probably been the biggest barrier. And I sort of just want to do things well. And so if I spread things out too much, and if it hurts the main channel as well, that also doesn't seem fair to the people who subscribe to the Tingman channel. So at the time being, anytime I get an idea to make a secondary channel, I rein that idea in right away. If I do end up going into a secondary channel, I think I would just need to do it with a team or to do it with someone else so that there could be, that regular content can still come out on that channel that doesn't always depend on me. So yeah, that's my thinking. If I could make a secondary channel, if I had like infinite time, definitely I'd have so many channels. I would immediately have a channel where I just did music, where I just like played piano, or gave like piano tutorials. I would instantly make a channel where I could talk about life and my faith a lot because that's very important to me. I would make a channel where I maybe talked about like being a dad, like parenting, I could just have like pure family vlogs on there that had nothing to do with cubes. I would, sky's the limit. Like once I get started, there's a lot of stuff which if time was infinite. And I think, that's just the wisdom of like me having had to learn what to say yes and no to. Every time you say no to something, you're saying yes to something else. Me choosing not to divide my time between all these things means me saying yes to more quality content on my channel. And, I'm not sure if the discussion eventually will go this way, but I think that's one of the reasons, for example, why I've been able to be quite consistent with my content over the last 4 years. So in the last, since the start of the year, a few other large cubing channels have been silent. And, you have to go on breaks, and that makes complete sense. And I have gone on breaks too. I think the longest I've gone without uploading a video was maybe 2 weeks, or maybe 3. A couple of years ago, I think I said I was going to take a month off, and then I only ended up taking like 2 or 3 weeks without uploading something. But apart from that, I have pretty much uploaded at least one video a week in the last, 3 years or something. And I'm pretty proud of that. Like, I'm pretty proud of the fact that with all the ebbs and flows in life, it's not like, my life has been smooth sailing. I'm a human like all of you guys. And so there've been just crunch times in my life in the last few years that have just been really difficult. But because of systems that I've set in place and because of things I've said yes and no to, I've had a steady stream of content. And I honestly am pretty proud of that I've been able to still provide cubing content on a regular basis without, vanishing for a long period of time.
Yeah, I think the hardest thing about YouTube is being consistent and publishing videos day in, day out. So what is like the typical day in the life of Tingman?
Yeah, pretty different this year because I have changed a lot of what I do in my sort of schedule outside of YouTube, like job, family, home sort of circumstances have changed a little bit. So a day in the life right now is quite different even from just what it was like 3 months ago. I would say in terms of weekdays, out of the 5 days in a week, I spend maybe 2 or 3 days on YouTube. And then the other days I spent on study because I'm currently doing a part-time master's degree. And when it's time, so on those days that I do YouTube, this is also still in between just, being a dad and dropping the kids at school and picking them up after school. I would maybe look at just what are the projects that I'm in the middle of, because like most YouTubers, I guess, I'm always like at multiple stages of various video projects. So there'll be one that's nearly completed, there'll be one that I've only just started editing at any one time, and then there'll be one that I'm in the middle of filming, and then there'll be one that I'm like still in the planning stages of. So that's just, it's the pipeline. There's just always videos. And so I just sort of decide for the day what I'm going to focus on. Is this going to be a filming day? Is this going to be an editing day? Is this going to be a planning day or a shopping day? Because I need to buy stuff for a certain video. So yeah, it's pretty varied. And I think that's one thing I enjoy so much about this. If it was too regular and it was too much of the same old every single day, pretty sure I would have stopped doing this years ago.
What is your process for getting a video from start to finish?
Man, how much time do you have? It completely depends on what the video is. If the generic one would be, I have a long list of video ideas, and it totally is which one just piques my interest the most, or which one needs to be done because of like time constraints or whatever, seasonal reasons. And so if I know this is the video that I'm going to make next, then I might script it if it's something that needs a script, or at least write out like the main beats of that video, gather all the materials that I need to film it, and then start the lengthy process of post-production. As of this year, I now work with an editor, which is really cool. It's taken me a very long time to reach a stage where I can sort of like get people on a team. So we're still getting to know each other. He's a fantastic guy. He's edited maybe 3 videos for me so far, so it's very early in the process. But I'll also decide if this is a video for him. So he's editing maybe like half of my videos, because I really like editing. So I sort of always want to have my fingers in the pie for that.
Yeah.
And so I'll decide, is this a project that's for him or is it for me? Or for both of us? Is it one that maybe he can cut like the initial bit and then he hands it over to me and I sort of really piece it together and do that final bit at the end. And even so, there's back and forth because we're still discussing the video if he's editing it, and then make the thumbnail. I still haven't reached the point where I can make the thumbnail prior to the video. That's what a lot of people, the pros, suggest doing, but I'm not that pro, I guess. So make the thumbnail. The thumbnail is still me. Would love to eventually work with someone on that, but unfortunately, it's still just me doing thumbnails. And that can take like anywhere between half an hour to like 5 hours to make a single thumbnail. Also, because I often make multiple thumbnails, as other YouTubers would, work through different titles, and then release the video when it's time to release the video. Yeah, I usually try and work with like several weeks in advance. So I also have my videos mapped out, I did mention before, for the next. Usually I know what videos I'm going to be releasing on my channel at any one point of time for the next like month or 2 or sometimes 3. if I map that far out in advance, there's usually a lot of change. But then at least I know what I'm working towards. I know I've got like, here's roughly my next, I'd say maybe 1 month is probably safe. Like I know almost definitely what my next 1 month's worth of videos are. And I usually have enough like or finished like completely edited and ready to go. At least I aim for at least 2 weeks. So at any one point of time, I've already got my next 2 videos. If I'm just doing the weekly release cycle, at any one point of time, I've got 2 videos like in the back, ready to go. Yeah, sorry, there's a lot of monologuing there.
No, that was really good. You like answered multiple questions at once. It was really good. So starting with the thumbnail.
Yep.
What makes a good YouTube thumbnail or like a cubing thumbnail in general?
Man, I would love you to tell me that. I would love the answer to come from someone else because I'm obviously still figuring out if there's one thing that's characteristic about Tingman thumbnails is that there's nothing characteristic about the Tingman thumbnails. It's so shocking. They're just all over the place. You think that I would just stick to one thing, but no. It was like constantly changing stuff. I think that's why maybe having external help could be good. But hey, if I had to pick stuff, the thumbnails that I make are bright and colorful. That's probably my main one.
Yeah.
Which I think captures just the vibe of the channel. So I think that's true to the essence of Tingman. But also, I like it. I mean, it's fun. It probably appeals more to the like demographic and the type of audience that my videos would appeal to anyway. So I think that makes sense. I try and stick to the same font. I try and have the cube front and central where possible. But I think it's because I make such different types of videos that it doesn't make sense to have like one single type of thumbnail. I wish I could just make JPerm style thumbnails where it's such a consistent look. It's so predictable. You don't even need to see the title or the like channel name when you're like scrolling through YouTube to know that it's JPerm. As soon as you see like the top bit of his thumbnail, you're like, yeah, that's a new JPerm video. I wish I had the graphical smarts of Cubehead. I wish I had his ability to like, man, just transform stuff. His thumbnails are like next level. But I'm me with my lousy Photoshop skills. And so I try and make stuff bright and happy and fun. And if it works, it works. And if it doesn't, I go, oh, well, maybe next time.
So you come up with your thumbnail after the video. Do you come up with the title after the video as well?
Oh, no. So titles are something that I usually try and create before. And that's because of my my document in which I sort of am planning the next few videos. And so if I know this video is coming out or whatever, in 4 weeks, when I write it down, I already am thinking at that point, what's a good title? And because I'm trying to get a little bit better with delivering on the title. I'm trying to get a bit better with my videos. Like as soon as you click on my video, feeling like, yeah, that made sense that this person called that video, that title. It didn't feel clickbaity. If I said that this was going to happen, that my kids were going to punish me if I didn't solve a cube in time, that's immediately what you get. I'm telling you, I need to solve this cube in time or my kids are going to punish me. I normally plan titles, or at least I've been thinking about the titles for a long time.
How long do you usually wait before you decide that a video needs like a change of thumbnail or a change of title?
I'll do that within the first few days.
Interesting.
And every now and again, maybe if I just don't have the time to get to it in the first few days, then I might do it a bit later. But that's because of time. It's not because of strategy. So like I recently, I think, changed the name of my most recent cubing vlog, and that was just because I didn't have the time to change it a bit earlier. Probably should have, but yeah. So
the production of a video, this is like a big chunk of YouTube that not a lot of cubing YouTubers really talk about. Mm-hmm. So like what gear do you use to record a cubing video?
So because of my background in video work and sort of like freelance video work, I have a ton of gear. So my challenge usually is having to choose the gear rather than it's a luxury. It's a really nice problem to have, as opposed to most YouTubers like wishing they had a certain piece of gear and then having to go out and buy it. For me, I just have like, 10 different cameras that I can use, and it's like, oh, which is the most appropriate one? This is definitely no secret because I say this a lot. My primary camera is my iPhone, like by far. My iPhone 14, is that the latest one? It's 14,
Yeah,
right?
I think 14's the latest one,
Yeah.
yeah.
The latest GAN is 13. That's where I always get mixed up. I'll say like GAN 14 and iPhone 13 because, yeah, that's stupid. But my primary camera by far is my phone. So whenever I do like a sort of point of view, top down stuff of me like solving a cube, it is my phone with a lot of supporting stuff. So my phone will be connected to like, a proper microphone. Never ever use like just phone audio. I'll have proper lighting and everything, but the camera is my phone. When I go to cubing competitions, it's also my phone because I used to bring around like my Panasonic GH5, a mirrorless, pretty compact camera. But then there are all different lenses that I need to like think about which ones I'm using. It's just there's a little bit more distance between me and the camera too, just to make sure that I'm framing it right.
Yeah.
There's also a bit more danger in terms of just its value. And when I'm at a competition, so much is happening. I don't want to have to think too much about like where are my valuables going. Did I leave my camera somewhere where someone can steal it? And so phone's easy. When I'm done with my phone, it goes in my pocket. And then all my solves will just be filmed using GoPros. So I've got a GoPro 9 and 10, which I use for my solves. And then if I need... So yeah, it's really my phone and GoPros, despite the fact that I've got all these like other cameras that I really should and could be using. But if I ever want anything pretty, cinematic stuff, even this interview that I'm recording with my camera, then I'll take out like my proper. This is a GH5 that's recording me right now with a really nice lens, and I'll do that if I need to get like cinematic shots or something that just looks that looks nice. If I'm filming myself like at home, then I'll do something like that. But pretty much everything else, it's my phone.
If you had to add up all the value of every bit of gear you have, how much do you think it would be?
It'd be quite a bit. If I give a value, I'm just going to encourage people to like break into my house.
Okay, so we've gone through the video recording aspect.
Mm-hmm.
So the editing, you mentioned you have an editor.
Yep.
Have they released any videos yet, or are they for the future?
Yeah, they have. So at time of recording, they were the ones who they edited most of my 2023 budget cube review that I made with my friend Bree, and they also edited the one that came out 2 weeks ago. I can't remember what I called it now. It was the one where it was the Rubik's gift sets. The ones where I went through some Rubik's toys and had to guess like which ones my kids would like the best. So yeah, that one they edited completely, which was fantastic.
It's very interesting because it's very difficult to tell the difference between your editor's videos and your videos. So I think they've done a really good job of matching your style of editing, because it's hard to tell, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. But also it's a close relationship, I think, that YouTubers should have with their editing team. And so we talk a lot. We talk nearly like every single day, just sort of going back and forth with messages of, and then also me having to make sure I give a clear vision of like what the video is going to be when I hand it over. So I normally like write like half a page of notes as I hand the video over with what I'm looking for in the video and what my thinking was as I put it together. And then, there'll be a few drafts and we'll go back and forth.
So before you had the editor, how long would it have taken you to edit a video?
Mm-hmm. I think it's probably safe to say that the rate was generally like maybe an hour per minute of video. It's a pretty good rule of thumb. Sometimes less, usually more. The ones that were more involved, like cubing competition vlogs, those could go up to maybe 2 hours per minute of final video. So if it's a 10-minute video, then it's safe to say that it would be close to 10 hours of editing.
How did you go about like building the editing skills?
Yeah. So I'm pretty lucky with that because I've just made videos for so long. So I've just always, I can't even remember when I learned to edit because I feel like I was born doing it. Maybe my limitation is the fact that I don't know how much I've like really tried to push myself to branch out and to try and learn a lot of new things recently because, new tricks and I'm an old dog. I think that's the reason. So I still use like Adobe Premiere Pro, which is great, but I'm hearing more and more people just maybe not jumping ship, but just trying new things, trying FCP and trying DaVinci, for example. I'd love to actually have the courage to just try DaVinci Resolve and see what that would be like as an editing software. But there's just a lot of relearning. And again, this is old stuff that will come at the expense of my pipeline, which is currently I'm just pretty happy with it. I'm pretty happy with my system. And so I'm scared that too many tweaks to the system would result in a poor experience for the end user, for the subscriber, essentially. Like suddenly Tingman won't, upload a video for a couple of weeks. And it's because I'm trying out all these new things. So doing all those things might actually take the channel into new directions. But I'm happy with how things are right now. And unless I really feel a great need, I'm just going to stick to my old ways of doing it. Yeah, here's a little Easter egg for those who actually know. This is so niche though. I still color my videos using Red Giant's Magic Bullet looks. This is like old stuff. Red Giant doesn't even make too much software these days. They've sort of like merged with like other companies. But I don't know, 5-10 years ago, Red Giant was really known for its like filters and like cinematic, Hollywood style looks that it could apply. And now it's all like LUTs and all different stuff using like Lumetri and everything on like Premiere Pro. And I still use Magic Bullet looks. I can't imagine there'll be many people like me who still use this software to like color my videos. But I do, and I like it, and I'm sticking to it.
Yeah.
Probably like 2 people appreciated that, but oh well.
For me, it's PowerPoint. So for thumbnails, I still use PowerPoint. For like most of all like graphic stuff, I still use PowerPoint just because I don't want to waste time learning something else if something already works.
And if it works, why not? Be proud of that, man.
Exactly, yeah.
PowerPoint all the way. You get your channel to like 1 million subs with PowerPoint. That'd be amazing.
I think that's definitely doable. So like if you went back to a budget setup where you just had something like iMovie, you were editing off your phone or something, how different do you think your videos would look?
If I had to use a very basic setup?
Very basic, yeah.
Good question. I think they won't be colored as nice. I spent quite a long time like color correcting my videos, which is something I never talk about, and probably a lot of people think about, but it's pretty important. So that's probably the main thing to me. It just probably wouldn't be color corrected. I wonder if they wouldn't be as well edited, not because of limitations of the software, but because of my frustrations with waiting. Because generally speaking, I'm going to say that almost all editing software, even the very, very basic ones, can do almost anything you wanted to do, except the simple ones or the cheaper ones take longer to do it. Like maybe they're just not as intuitive. Like stuff is buried. You need like weird creative workarounds to get something done, where the more like professional software can just like do it like, I don't know, it's just easier. You've got more control. I think iMovie would frustrate me to a point where I'm like, I don't care anymore. I'm just releasing this video as it is, and I'm not going to polish it and make it look any nicer. So I think it'll be me. I would be the limiting factor, not the software.
And what would you say is like your biggest editing tip for anyone that wants to like improve their editing skills?
Yeah, I have too many. It's very hard to think of one. But why not? I'll think of one. It's very YouTube specific, and it's probably just get into it right away. Like, just lose the introduction. Just get into it. I need to listen to my own advice because a lot of my videos often have lengthy introductions. But most people will click on a video because they know what they're going to get based on the thumbnail and title. And so if your title is like 10 ways to do blah, 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 and then you click on it, and then the very first thing is like, hey guys, it's just me. Sorry, I haven't uploaded in a while. But I thought I'd make a video on 10 ways to, and it's like, dude, I know you're going to do that. Your title just said it. Like, just get into it. Let's just get straight into the video. Let me get to know you along the way, but you don't need to start with this really long, like, get to know you. That's probably, I don't know, that's more a YouTube tip than an editing tip, but I think that would improve a lot of videos on YouTube.
Quick segment. This is where we answer the audience's questions. So okay. I did a few community posts and messages to try and get people to ask questions for you. Mm-hmm. So this is what we got. So do you work with an agency to get brand deals outside of Cube stores?
That's a complicated question.
It is.
I would say for the most part, no. But for the last year, I did actually sign up with a company. However, it was thinking of the right way to say this. It didn't probably do what I thought it would. So I'm ending that. Like, I don't actually think it really changed almost anything on my channel at all. And so it was a 1-year partnership that I think had I not even done it, you wouldn't have seen any difference on my channel. So yes, but also no, because that's finishing like today, literally right after this.
I probably need a bit of backstory on this because I'm a bit of a noob when it comes to like brand deals and business stuff. But like, what is an agency for brand deals?
Well, this was a company that just provided like channel management. Yeah. And I probably don't want to name them because I was a little bit disappointed with my experience with them. But I'm pretty sure that people have had very positive experiences with this company. And so I don't want to make a blanket statement and make it sound as if they're bad or that all agencies are bad. Yeah, but they more like provided channel management and tried to like find brand deals. But in 12 months, found one single brand deal, which was a lot less than what they promised. And just didn't really seem worth it, considering like the cut they were taking as well. Anyway, that was just my experience. It wasn't as positive. Otherwise, generally, I don't go out to look for brand deals. I generally just wait for them to come to me. Probably not super smart in terms of business, but I haven't felt like I've needed a lot of brand deals. So in the past 12 months, I think I've done I did stuff with Squarespace, for example. I had a period of time with Squarespace. Yeah. And that was them approaching me and offering something. And I think we did maybe 4 to 6 videos or something all up. Yeah, which is pretty cool. But I haven't had anything since. And I'm not really feeling like I needed a lot. I don't know. Sorry, really long answer to that short question.
So what are your PBs? Or what is your PB for 3x3?
It is, I think, 8.4 or something. The other day, I totally could have beaten that. But this is where I'm just like, all cubers, we're just always like disappointed with our PBs or with our results, no matter what. We're always like, I could have done better. I finished at like 8 seconds with a PLL skip, and instead of doing a U prime, I did 3 U's because I didn't know what to do with it. And then ended up with like a high 8. And like I like repeated that exact same like solve, and I got like 6 seconds. And I was like, I had so many pauses in there and just like I didn't know what to do with it. Anyway, 8 seconds. 8 seconds is my current 3x3 PB.
If you had the chance, would you become a musician or stick to YouTube?
Ooh. Like right now, or like going back in, like if I could time travel and do something. Yeah, that's a very tough question. The way that my life panned out, obviously YouTube is what happened, and YouTube, I'm very happy with how it, worked out, because YouTube now has enabled me to have more time in my life for my family and also time to pursue like Bible college and theological study. Music would have probably been like me following my heart. Had I gone into music. So that would have been me following my heart and doing what I'm most passionate about. So Yeah, that would have been nice. But I also think, oh, this is a bit of a bomb to throw out there. I think following your heart's a bit overrated. I think Disney's message of like, not listening to anyone at all and only you determining the outcome of your own life, I think it's a bit overrated. I think that the secret lies somewhere in between. I think either extreme is dangerous, of just only doing what society and culture expects. But also, man, how scary is it to be the only one who's steering your ship? Like, I want people on deck with me. I want people to guide me. I want to be following signposts. I want to be learning from the wisdom of others when I'm like making big life choices. How scary is it to be like, I will follow my heart 100%. Like, ooh, I could go anywhere.
What do you think your limit is for 3x3 single and average?
I wonder if I've already hit it. It could also be that I'm not maybe very strategically trying to improve in 3x3, because I quite enjoy being a jack of all trades. So you might have seen on my profile or like in my competitions, I like take part in every single event that I can. And so because there's only one of me and there's so many events, my time just gets divided up between all of it. So I don't think I do a lot of very targeted practice on 3x3 that would cause me to get faster. 3x3 is very much my like, if I solve it at home, it's my switch off, like let's just solve a cube for like an hour and not think about anything and not think about learning new alg sets or whatever. Whereas if I'm wanting to improve, it's usually not 3x3. Like right now, I'm trying to like get good at 5 blind so that I can get one single 5 blind success on my profile. And I would suggest that's a bit of a hard thing to do. So that's taking up a lot of my mental capacity. So I don't know, maybe pragmatically I've hit my limit already with 3x3, but theoretically I probably haven't. I probably can go a little bit quicker.
So how do you come up with such awesome video ideas?
I have said, quite a few times that I'm pretty lucky that they just come. I've never had a problem with video ideas. Yeah. They come from just like all over the place. So they'll come from like me watching, other YouTube videos and then realize like from, other niches, nothing to do with cubes, and thinking I could completely transpose that into cubing and it would make sense to make that video in a cubing scene. It comes from seeing a cube at a toy shop. It will come from me hanging out with my kids and doing stuff, and it's like, actually, we could make that into a video. They come from all over the place. And
final question in this segment: when do you think you will hit 1 million subs?
According to YouTube analytics, this year. Not sure when.
Wow.
But 2023.
Let's talk about the business side of cubing YouTube. So I'm going to be a bit brave here and ask a quite direct question. And that is, how much money do you earn on YouTube?
Oh, that's a good question. I have gone back and forth a lot with like how I would answer that question, because on one hand, love to be transparent and just like say it. But on the other hand, I think it would be tricky for me to share in terms of how it would both be possibly discouraging to other people, but also I'm just not sure whether, because it's not just me, it's like my family's involved as well. I just don't know whether there could be other dangers involved. Yeah. So I'm not going to give you a figure, I'm sorry. But I will say, as a safe answer, enough for me to, stop my other jobs and rely on it completely for income.
Interesting.
Yeah. So in a chat which I had with Cubehead, I think a year or so ago or more, I said that the reason why I haven't gone full time into YouTube is because unreliable ad revenue from month to month, and it still is highly unreliable. Like the fluctuations is insane, and that's why because I have a family relying on me, it's irresponsible for me to leave consistent work where I just get a salary every month and go to something where it just ebbs and flows. But I've had enough information, I think, over the past 12 months for me to know. I think even with the ups and downs, I think it will average amount that's safe enough for me to rely on for income. So, for example, in the last 12 months, there'll be months that I earn like 3 or 4 times more than another month. Like, that's how inconsistent it is. It's not even like, like maybe 50% more in another month. It's literally like I'll get X amount in one month and then a quarter of that in the next month. And like, yeah, and they're just like really tricky figures to like budget with and to run a family with. Yeah.
So like, what are your streams of revenue on YouTube in terms of like where you get your income from?
YouTube ad revenue would be number one for me, which I know is not the case for a lot of other YouTubers, that their income will come from other places, but it's number one actually from YouTube ad revenue. And then the next one would probably be my partnership with Daily Puzzles, in terms of commissions and maybe products, like the monetary value of products that they give me. Next would be ads that are placed in videos. So some of which are also from Daily Puzzles when they place ads, and other companies. And then finally, it'd be a very, very, very small proportion of that is from like my direct sales of like my products. So like my merch, and in December I launched the Tingman bundle, which is about like 20 or so videos. So that would be like by far the smallest proportion.
Interesting. So like, how did that bundle work? Like, how did you go about sharing this like bundle of videos?
So that was me experimenting to see what it might look like to make some exclusive content, which is essentially what like channel membership is. So I had been feeling a bit of pressure from some people to like make channel create channel membership so that there could be now people who can support the channel in that way and have access to more stuff. And then Patreon got onto me and said, hey, would you like to maybe start a Patreon? And we actually went down that road pretty far. And then eventually when I thought about, I'm thinking about like user end experience. I'm like, what are they going to get from me? Are they actually going to get consistent stuff from me? I've said this a few times now. I don't want to hurt the pipeline. I don't want to hurt my consistency of videos. And if I suddenly like every single month have to make like all these multiple videos for, people who paid channel membership or Patreon or whatever, it's like, I just don't know if I can, I don't know. I didn't have things set up in place last year in which I could do that. And so I thought, what do people actually want? I think that people want more videos, and I think a lot of people wish they could just hang out with me and the kids. It's the vibe that I get whenever I go to competitions. People, like kids would just be like, I can't believe I'm just here solving cubes with you. I can't believe I'm like talking to you. I can't believe I'm sitting next to you. And people will email and say, I wish you could come to our cubing club. Do you have tips for our cubing club? And, our cubing club that I'm starting, what I got from that was that it's community. It's like connection and relationship. And I thought, how can I provide this? And that's what led to the bundle. I'm like, what if I made just hours and hours of content where if you watched it, it would feel like you're just chilling. You're just hanging out with me. It's like a lot less formal than my actual videos. And so...
Interesting.
Yeah, that was very, very hard to make. I think that actually did hurt my flow a little bit because, I essentially made like nearly 10 hours of like almost like half a year's worth of content was like made in this one single bundle. Half a year's worth of YouTube content rather, like into this one single bundle. And so the amount that I like sold it for was really to cover costs. Unfortunately, maybe a little bit more than like what some people wanted and therefore couldn't afford. But I mean, I don't know. It costs as much as like a GAN cube. Like a single cube. And I totally believe that you are getting your money's worth, more than your money's worth. Like, I really don't think that anyway, sorry, it's going on a bit of a tangent for that. That was the idea for the bundle. It's a bit of an experiment too, just to see what it would be like to sell a product and to get different revenue streams should anything happen to the main channel. I just wanted to get more data.
I'm curious on why you chose to do exclusive videos instead of live streams. Because I feel like live streams would have had the same impact.
Yeah, that's right. I don't think I'm very good at live streams yet. I was also in the middle of a house move, and so I just didn't have a very good sort of like streaming setup. My internet wasn't super fast in my old house. It's better now. But yeah, that's probably why. I also can't help but always think that live streaming has that inherent problem of timing, because I'm in Australia and like my time zone works for people here, but the majority of my cubing viewers, I would say, it's like number 1 from US, number 2 from India, and so that's already like 2 wildly different time zones. That's not even taking into account my local like Australian, friends and cubers, and then cubers from Europe. So yeah, I can't get over that. I can't get over that inherent problem with live streaming, because like, what time do you choose the live stream to happen? It's just for a whole bunch of people, it won't be live. And then what was the point of live streaming it? I don't know.
If there was an alternate reality in which you had an infinite amount of money, how do you think that would affect the content you make?
I think I would probably make a lot more content, because I would just go nuts with hiring people. Otherwise, in terms of the content itself, I don't think too much would change. I think having a lot more money won't actually change the types of videos that I make, or even the quality. Like, I really do think I am making the best quality I possibly can. And that adding more money, it's not going to like change my software or my camera or my cubes. Like the cube's the cube. So I think all it would affect is it would widen my pipeline, and then more videos can come out, because I would have the means to outsource and to hire more help, get more help.
You say you're making the best content like you've ever made. You're at your peak. But how do you go up from there? Like, how can you improve your content further?
Yeah.
If it's already so good.
That's a good question. I don't think I would say I'm at my peak, though. I think I'm saying that I'm making the best that I presently can with like what I know. But I do think that my videos have improved over the years, that I've been able to figure out like what it is that my audience likes. I don't know if I need to give myself the pressure of feeling like I need to make better videos. I think what I try and do is keep my finger on the pulse, and as YouTube maybe evolves, or as viewing habits evolve, I can just shift with that. If it looks like people in general are just enjoying shorter content, I will make shorter content. If it looks like they're enjoying longer content, so that's one example. If it looks like they're enjoying more like, I don't know, say that all of a sudden, like, people really, really enjoy like more videos with like, strangers. I go up to someone and just like, hey, want to see me do a, cubing thing or whatever. Then it's like, cool, I'll make more of those videos. Like I'll try and sort of get the vibe of like where it is YouTube is moving, and where, my viewers are like wanting the channel to move, and I'll move with that. So I think that's how the channel will improve. So it's not necessarily that like videos are just keep going to be like, wow, that was amazing quality. And that's because I don't think that was ever the promise of my channel. My channel's promise, I don't think ever was just like, you are going to go away from my videos thinking that was high quality. Like, I want people to go away from my videos thinking, oh, that was nice. That was heartwarming. That was cool. That was like, I felt something. I feel happy. Like that was good. And I've achieved that with like lousy cameras, and with, videos that I watched from like 3-4 years ago, that if I watch from a technical perspective, I'm like, cringe. That was like, I can do such a better job. But when I look at engagement, this comes back to engagement again, and how people feel about it. The comments, it's like, that video did better than like this video I made just last month, where I had more equipment, because I managed to touch on something. I managed to like connect into people's emotions. And so, yeah, that's my goal. It's not to just like blow people away with like crazy, amazing graphics and stuff, because I don't know, impresses you for like a few minutes and then you forget about it. But how you make someone feel, like that stuff lasts longer. that stuff
Agreed.
is more meaningful. So that's my mission. Yeah, gonna keep doing that, and I'm not gonna stress myself too much about the like quality. Like I said, it's not like a compromise on quality. I still am producing good quality, but I'm not like killing myself trying to always do like better quality.
I feel like the word quality is thrown about quite a bit, and it has multiple meanings. Like there's qualities in terms of production value, and then there's quality in like other aspects.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily just how a video is produced.
Yeah, that's very true.
So like, tell us about the story behind your first sponsorship.
Oh yeah.
In this case, the Daily Puzzle sponsorship.
Yep, that's right. So, funny story. I had started making a few cubing videos, and like all cubers, I was just very aware of how much money I was spending on cubes and thinking, wouldn't it be nice if there was a way to... that seems to be the story of Sony Evil. That was definitely, that's Kevin's story, Cubing Encoded, with like wanting to get sponsorship so that he wouldn't have to spend so much money on cubes. And I approached Daily Puzzles. They had been around for a few years, but I would say they were still in their infancy-ish. And I said, hey, I just ordered a GAN Megaminx and a Volk 5M from you. I plan to make videos on it. Here's my YouTube channel. At that point, I had already like 5,000 subscribers, and that wasn't from cubing. 5,000 subscribers was just, I think it was 5, it was close. That was just me being on YouTube for like 10 years. And said, I actually do make videos professionally. Would you consider like some sort of like sponsorship? And very quickly, Billy, the CEO of Daily Puzzles, got back and was like, yeah, sure, let's try it out. He just refunded immediately the cost of those 2 cubes, which I was like, wow, that's amazing. Back then, that he would do that so quickly. I made videos on those cubes, and rest is history. I think that was
interesting.
Yeah, we were chatting recently, I think, and reflecting on the fact that I felt like sponsorees. But I don't
The
think that's the right word.
sponsoree, I think, is the right word.
Is that like an actual English word? That feels completely made up.
I've always used the word sponsoree. Yeah.
Sponsoree. That just sounds fake. That has to be fake. People are okay. I'm gonna ask your audience to like comment if they think it's a real word. It's so fake. It sounds so fake. Anyway,
Okay.
I was reflecting on the fact that sponsorees come and go. The cubing stores persist, but you just see people who are like sponsored by X cubing company, and then they come up and then they disappear, and then another one comes up and disappears, and it's good while it lasts, but they're like, I don't know, little fires that just go out. And telling Billy that I think one thing that I bring to his company is consistency. I think part of that is also just me having had life experience and knowing what I'm promising. So if I promise that I'm going to deliver this product, for him, if I promise that this is what you're going to get out of a partnership with me, because I have had many jobs and I've had life experience, I will deliver on that. And so we've been able to have a really, really good partnership for now 4 years. And it's also turned into a really cherished friendship that I have with him as we've seen each other's sort of businesses grow. So very grateful for him. And amazing to think of how far we've come from just that first email interaction.
Interesting. So, like, why was it Daily Puzzles and not like potentially a more established brand?
Yeah,
in the business.
Good question. Probably because they were the ones that I was ordering from. So there were, and there, at the time, and there still is, only 2 like major Q companies in Australia that I know of, and I had been ordering from both because, I don't know, they were just 2 different stores. And so I would order from the ones that had the cube in stock that I wanted the cube from. I just like the idea of supporting a local company. I mean, they're from a different state, but they're Australian. And so I like that I'm just supporting an Australian store. And I also sort of liked the fact that they were a bit of an underdog at the time. They were a bit of a smaller company. And so I thought there could be something nice too about partnering with them. It also didn't take me long to figure out that Billy was a good guy and was a trustworthy guy, and not just someone out there to just make money. Like, he actually is passionate about cubing and speed cubing, like the community. He really celebrates like when the community grows, and himself like wants to see good content on YouTube. And so it was a bit of a no-brainer. That isn't to say anything against any of the other cubing stores. Like, I'm sure, amazing people as well. And as fate could have had it, I could have partnered up with any of the other ones. But this is just how things happened.
Has any other company tried to like reach out to you to maybe get you to switch sides?
Yeah, they certainly have. Quite a few have. Not as much recently. I don't think it makes as much sense to do it now. But yeah, I have had maybe like 3 or 4 offers from other companies. This is a random story. I haven't had any offer from The Cubicle, which is fine. I don't care. That sounds like I do. So I was going to clip that out of context. But I once, I think, listened to a podcast in which someone asked Phil Yu, Cubicle CEO, about that. And he said something like, but it wouldn't make sense for me to ask Tingman because Tingman is good. And I'm like, yeah, exactly. It makes that's the exact, like, Phil's got it. He's a great, clever guy. And also Phil and Billy are good friends. And so, like, in some ways, I feel like me partnering with Daily Puzzles is actually like a very indirect partnership with The Cubicle anyway, because Daily Puzzles, like, it's the Australian like retailer of a lot of Cubicle like labs stuff. They sell a lot of their like lubes, for example, like here in Australia. So yeah, pretty partial to Cubicle as well for that reason.
What is the story behind your first viral video?
So that one cube many for cubers. I have no idea why I went viral. That's just YouTube. I hadn't figured anything out then yet. But so that was the video where I got a bunch of people at the WCA World Championships 2019 in Melbourne to apply one move to a cube each, and eventually solve the cube. This wasn't a novel idea. Got the idea from I can't remember the name of the channel. I made a whole like, how I made the video on my channel, but it was someone who I think got like a lot of people to solve a cube, except the way he did it was that he just handed a cube to the person and then the next shot did. And so you just couldn't see the like the progress.
The transition.
Yeah. You just knew in your head they were applying moves, but like it's not like you actually saw the cube get like more and more solved along the way, really. And so, yeah, it's really summarized in that video. But in short, I made a little very like horrible hack rig to like mount the cube and a GoPro. And for a few days went around during that competition, getting as like well-known people. I tried to like apply moves to that cube and put the video together, and didn't expect it to do so well. I thought obviously cubers would appreciate it, but I don't know why it was so widely viewed by non-cubers, because they wouldn't have known most of the people there. Yeah, maybe it was that I just struck gold with just the consistency of seeing the same cube in the same position. I've always thought I would love to like recreate that video, but I haven't had the opportunity with like a competition with that many well-known people in one space. And I am fortunately and unfortunately a lot more well-known now. And so when I go to competitions, I am not as anonymous, which can be a barrier for me trying to film content. At that time, 2019, I wasn't very well known. A few people like recognized me at that competition, but I could just go around and surreptitiously do my thing. And now I can't be invisible at a competition, which limits my videoing sometimes.
I feel like you got very lucky in the sense that Worlds was in Australia at the time.
Absolutely.
So you ended up
very lucky.
seeing a lot of people.
Yeah, I know.
Do you plan on visiting Worlds this year?
Yeah,
in South
I'd love
Korea?
to.
Do you plan on venturing out?
Yeah, I would love to. At time of recording, they haven't announced the competition officially yet on the WCA website. And
Yeah.
so I think the biggest limiting factor is the fact that I believe it's got a 1,000 competitor limit, and I believe that will fill up super quick. And so I may not even get to register in time. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that will be the main reason why I'm unable to go. That like I just am not able to register in time. Like it might fill up in like 5 or 10 minutes or less. Like apparently there are a lot of cubing competitions in China that fill up within seconds.
Without that viral video, do you think like you would have still got the level of success that you did?
If I had kept to it, yeah. But without that video, I don't know if I would have had the motivation, the impetus to keep going. I don't think, because that was just one of the signs that told me,
Right.
hey, maybe I could pursue this. So I think, I think that it would have more been like mentally for me. I wouldn't have realized that this is something worth doing. Otherwise, if that video didn't exist on my channel, I'm pretty sure that my later videos still would have been things that people enjoyed.
What was your biggest YouTubing mistake?
Oh, I need to think about that one. I don't know if I have any. That sounds like I haven't made mistakes. I certainly have. I just can't think of any like major one that I would say it's a big regret. I don't think I have any big regrets in the YouTubing space. Sorry for that very uninteresting answer. Yeah, just lots of little things that I wish I could have maybe done a bit differently, but nothing that actually is significant. Yeah. Generally speaking, speaking very, very generally, I maybe wish that I could have that I could maybe like zoom in or hone in even more on the wholesomeness factor, and there could have been maybe a lot of videos that I just sort of just churned out without thinking about it very much, and just here you go, here's another video. And instead of making each video, I don't know, more special, like actually say something that means something, feature people more, encourage people more. But otherwise, I can't actually think of anything major. I've been very careful with how I've conducted myself on YouTube.
So, as you know, YouTube is full of highs and lows.
Yep.
Would you say there were any low points in your YouTube journey?
Maybe maybe they might maybe be analytics related. So there've been multiple times in the last few years that it looked like my channel was just going to die. Like it looked like I've peaked and this isn't happening anymore. But the fact that it's happened multiple times has shown me that I can't make too much of it. So arguably, even though my channel is so much bigger now than it was even just a year ago, I feel like I'm in one of those right now. I feel like views right now generally have been a lot lower than they normally are. Engagement, all of the stuff that you would use to measure. So yeah, it's very hard. Even though I know in my head I can't make too much of this, things would probably turn around. It's very hard when you're in the moment to not feel it and think that, yep, that's it. I had a good run. It's time to hang up the towel and just, find something else to do. So I would say like those are the low moments when, like my was it just last week? I think it was last week that I released that cube competition vlog that ordinarily by now would have had so many more views than it currently does. And I spent a silly amount of time on that video and it just didn't get discovered very much. So yeah, stuff like that gets pretty discouraging when the reception didn't match the effort for something that I think matters. Yeah.
Interesting.
And that should have had broad appeal. like the competition vlog. But again, it's only been a week, so who knows? Things can totally change in the future. But I'd say that those are the lower moments when I know I've spent. Yeah, I'm still giving 100%, and I'm just not seeing results.
What advice would you give to someone else who's in that same position?
Yeah, it would just be you think long term. It's the same that like financial advice. When people are making investments and stuff, you try not to just go into it to make a quick buck. Like there'll be ups and downs, and you just sort of, if it's a wise investment, you just stick to it, and it should pay off in 10 years. Like you stick to it and you wait. You play the long game. But that's to people, I guess, who actually are seeing YouTube as like career. If you're like a kid and you're a teenager and you're making videos and you're not relying on it for income, it's sort of like a bit of a hobby thing, then I would say like, yeah, what's your goal? Like I said before, my goal isn't to blow people away with the quality. It's always been to make them feel something and to make them feel happy. And so if that's your goal too, then who cares if like 2 million people watched it or 2,000 people or 20 people watched it? If you achieve that outcome, you can tell yourself, great, I made a difference to those 20 people. Like I made their day better in some way. Their lives are improved because I exist. And that's great. That's good. I achieved something.
You've been on YouTube for 16 years, which is very rare in the current state of cubing YouTube. Obviously, you weren't making cubing content in those 16 years, but you're still probably the longest standing cubing YouTuber. What kept you going throughout those 16 years?
Well, I don't know if going is the best word because it's not like I was making consistent content. I probably had I don't know what the longest gap was if I look back on my videos in which I didn't upload a video. I wouldn't be surprised if I went 12 months without uploading anything.
Yeah.
So it wasn't about me keeping it going as it was me just not deleting my channel because I didn't really care too much about whether I was getting views. It was really mostly YouTube first came up as a way for people to just share their videos with their friends. Because YouTube didn't have a discoverability, algorithm or anything. And so you only saw the videos of your friends. And that's how it started. So I would make a video so I could share it with my friends at church or with my family. And if other random people over the years started to discover my videos, it was like, that's weird. Who's watching my videos? Why on earth would they want to watch this video? I didn't share it with them. And so, yeah, it was a very different mindset. Psychology of YouTube was very different at the start. So I think that a few of the questions that we ask about YouTube now are anachronistic. Do you like that word? If we apply to YouTube at the very start. If
you could go back to yourself 16 years ago, what would you tell them?
I'd say, hey, invest in Apple stock. See you later. I don't think I would say too much. I think that my journey needed to have happened the way that it did, with me just getting skills in all my different areas before I actually, like who I am today and my ability to make the videos that I make with cubes. It's because I have made, those dumb music videos with my friends years ago. It's because I made those card trick magic videos, and it's because I filmed wedding videos for a couple of years. It's just like cumulative, all these experiences I've had in my life have joined together to, give me the skills, I guess the creativity, the way of thinking. It's my other very simple, safe, boring answer. I don't think I would tell him to do anything differently. Yeah, just keep going and just invest in Apple stock. That's really it. If you woke up one day and you had... I wake up most days, actually.
Yeah. So if you woke up one day with 0 new views, 0 new subscribers,
yep,
how would you feel and how would you respond to it?
Realistically, I would just think it's something wrong with YouTube. Like their servers are down or something that has happened.
Okay.
So it wouldn't be a one-off thing. if it was consistent, if it would basically like flatlined for like months,
Yeah.
it would have to happen for months. Then it would be a pretty easy choice to just pull the plug, because like I unfortunately like it's my job now, and so if it's just not happening, it's not happening. I would say it was good while it lasted, and it's time to move on to something else, because I need to feed my family and I need to not cry over spilled milk. I'm so happy with like where YouTube has brought me. I honestly don't feel like I've got regrets about like the last few years on YouTube. And so I'm so grateful. And if it all gets taken away, as sad as that would be, I am so thankful that I got to go on this ride, even if it dies right now. I'm so thankful that I got to go on this wild roller coaster ride.
I mean, it's a slight variation to that question. If your channel was to disappear one day, like that, all your videos are gone, would you start over? And if so, how would you start over?
Ooh. Would I start over? Would I still be known? If I wasn't known?
Yeah, people will still remember you as Tingman.
Yeah. Well,
your channel would just be dead.
Well, that's a bit of a cheat code then, because I can just start a second Tingman channel, and then people would just know it's me and probably want to find me, and I would already have a bit of a platform. So yeah, I mean, if it happened right now, yeah, I'll just get straight back into it, because why not? Like, I just need to keep my channel going. If I wasn't known, that would be a lot harder. Yeah, I think it's. I still believe that there's still space for new cubing YouTubers on YouTube. I don't, as crowded as the space is becoming, I still don't think it's reached saturation point. And I say that because there are just massive cubing channels now that didn't exist a year ago or 2 years ago. And so that fact shows that new up-and-comers exist. They're out there and they can still come up. And so that gives me hope that if I was starting from scratch, I can still make it. I can still be the one of those who gets there. Except it's hard. I think all that, like, it's because it's a more crowded space now, it's harder to stand out. It's not impossible, but it's a lot harder to stand out. It would be very hard if I was unknown starting now. I would really need to find my edge, really need to find what made my channel unique, that was different from everyone else. And that's hard. That's very hard. Much easier to copy. Very hard to create something new.
You seem to engage with a lot of like smaller creators. So how do you go about finding the small creators?
Yeah, the YouTube algorithm does it for me most of the time. So good job to the YouTube algorithm. I think it's also because I engage with it whenever I see it. And it's really just the pass it on like mentality. It's not because I'm like, amazing person or anything. Someone did that for me. Like, people did that for me. And so it's a bit of a no-brainer that I do it for other people as well. Like I know what it feels like for someone who, I look up to say something positive, encouraging to me. So it's just my responsibility. Of course I would do that to someone else. Like, why would I make it stop with me? So as far as I can, I always try to encourage when I'm on YouTube. If I find a smaller channel that is promising and you can just tell they've put effort into this, then I will encourage. I will really show my appreciation to their effort and encourage them to keep going. And I think maybe because I've done that to some videos, YouTube is like, hey, this guy likes watching, cubing competition vlogs from small channels, and I now seem to get recommended quite often. Those in particular, like comp vlogs from smaller channels, and I'm like, cool, thank you, algorithm. I do actually like watching those. It's really cool getting these little insights to what competitions are like around the world. So, yeah, sorry, my long answer to it. That's how I find them. YouTube finds them for me and forces me to watch them.
So you've made a entire song dedicated to smaller creators. But if you had to name only your top 3 small creators, you can define what you think small is. What would they be?
Oh my gosh. No, okay, I'm going to correct you there. It wasn't a song about smaller creators. It was a song about the channels which I love, and a bunch of them were smaller ones. I don't think that size, like the size of your channel, has any impact on your videos. Like, yeah, there are amazing videos coming from small channels that for some just reason the algorithm maybe just hasn't really pushed them out too far yet. I don't think I can answer top 3 because they change. They change like every single month, and then if I even felt bad making that video because I was acutely aware that there were like a few dozen other channels that I wasn't mentioning. And so that's why I was very careful in my wording to say these other channels that I love. I think I finished with the line, there may be many others that I haven't heard about, but these other cubing channels that I love. That was like my disclaimer with like, guys, don't roast me. These are just the ones I watch. Like, there are many others that I am yet to discover, but I just happen to watch these ones. So, yeah. Really hard to say. Okay, I'm going to list a few off the top of my head. If I can remember their names. I have been enjoying JF Cubing's content. I have been enjoying Namoon's content. I think her channel is now like Namoon Does Stuff or something. And then I just can't remember their channel titles. Their channel names. There's a bunch that I've like commented on in the last few weeks. I feel like I comment on a smaller channel's video at least like once every 2 days. I'll like find someone's thing and then just make sure I say something so they know that I'm there. I'm gonna be kicking myself because I'll remember it right after this podcast. But yeah, there are many. And I see you. I see you guys. And you guys are amazing.
What would you say is like, if you can't remember channel names, what would you say is like your favorite cubing video of all time?
Of all time? Oh my gosh.
You have a lot of options.
There are too many options. Okay, an easy answer is just like Chris Olsen's videos, like Sire the King. Yeah, like when he made Why We Cube. Oh, actually no, the one he made about Felix. I really like that. Like, you know, why Felix, like the greatest speed cuber of all time.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, just the vibe of that, just the power, just the action, just that was a good video. It's probably like definitely top 3, if not number 1. It's top 3.
If there was a creator listening to this now that was very demotivated and they feel like quitting, what would be like your advice / motivation?
Okay, so I think that there's 2 questions there because it's advice and motivation. I would say if you're looking for advice, my first piece of advice is it's okay. It's okay to lose interest in a hobby and move on to something else. There's nothing wrong with it. In the cult of like cubing, maybe it might seem like sacrilegious to abandon cubing and to do something else, but it's like, yo, you've got a life. Just like do what you want with it. Like cubing's just one thing. It's fine. Find something else. It's totally okay. It's totally okay to leave YouTube and to leave this hobby. Don't feel bad about it. Don't feel like you're letting people down. So that's advice. Motivation, though, if you want to keep going and if you want motivation, it's that you need often to make a lot of small videos before a big one gets discovered. And we look at the examples of people who make it big very early on and go, I wish that was me. I wish I got a lucky break. But the reality is most people will make like 100 videos before they get 1,000 subscribers. If on YouTube, for example. And so you keep going, you keep pushing, and you try and remind yourself 2 things. One, that every single video you're doing is like a single brick that you're laying down, and it feels like this house is never going to be built, but you actually did just lay down 1 extra brick. You are actually a step further than you were before. And the second thing is, like I said before, like what's your main goal? You know, and hopefully if your goal is more than just numbers, like how I've said mine is, it's about making people feel something, making them feel happy, then you could be achieving it. You could be already achieving that goal without having like so many digits in, you know, the views or in your subscriber count. And so if you think of it that way, then yeah, you're doing something. You're making this world a better place. You are, and I mean, isn't Isn't that the goal? Isn't that like everyone's goal? Like we should just be, a positive influence in other people's lives. We should be the reason. Everyone should be the reason why someone else's life is better. That's my advice and motivation.
So what are your plans for Tingman in the next few years? Or months?
I would love to keep it going. To be honest, went into it at the very start thinking that I could leave this at any point and it'll be fine. Right now, just with the current state, I would love to keep this going for at least another 3 years. I would just have to pick a number. I would love for Tingman to still be going out in 3 years, which is such a long time on YouTube because YouTube changes so much. I mean, YouTube Shorts didn't exist 3 years ago, and so who knows what's going to be here in 3 years from now. But I would hope that my channel is still around and still doing enough for me to, earn a living from it, and my creativity still be going. And audiences, viewers still very happy with what they're getting, feeling like they're still getting wholesome videos. I always have big ideas and big ambitious plans. Like I mentioned before, nothing where I'm like, this is gonna change YouTube. This is gonna change your life forever. Not like, Mr. Beast, like Squid Game, 400 million like views level thing. But I am very confident that my subscribers will get what they subscribe for. Like, I'm very confident that if you subscribe for the rest of the life of this channel, you will always get what I promise that you will get, which is wholesome cubing videos. And they will be varied, and they will be creative, and they'll be different. They won't feel like they're all the same. And maybe linked to what you said before, I also hope to use my channel to like springboard a lot of other channels. So I hope that in the future of Tingman is where a lot of other channels will get the push that they need to grow. I hope that people will be able to say that because of the Tingman channel, they were inspired to do something, or they found hope, or they found friends. They found just that motivation to keep going on in life with whatever it is, whether it's cubing or not. Very sort of generic, maybe not even cubing related goals, but I just recognize the fact that with great power, I guess it's that, isn't it? Like, it's when you've got something like this, it just is with great power comes great responsibility. You just gotta use this, any privilege you have to make things better for someone else. And I didn't choose to have this massive channel. I really think that it was like a gift that was given to me by the world, and according to my faith, by God. And so you use your privilege to help other people. Like, if I was given this gift, thank you. I'm now going to use this gift to give more gifts and to help more people to find what they need to in life. Yep. Maybe not the answer you were after, because I wasn't really about videos, but that to me is my vision for the Tingman channel.
Your answers was a lot deeper, I think, than what I was expecting.
I can't help it. That's me. I think deeply about stuff. I get pretty philosophical about a lot of things. Yeah. In real life. In my videos, I'm just some like stupid random cubing dad.
Are there any like upcoming projects that you're working on that you're quite excited about, that you're willing to share?
Yeah. I mean, well, some are already sort of public, like in last week's vlog, where I said that this year is going to be my big year of cubing when it comes to cube competitions. I set myself 10 goals for myself this year, one of which is to attend 10 cube comps, which is more than I've ever done in a year. So that's even that already is just like increased engagement with the community. Very excited about that. Hope to break a lot of my PRs this year. Hope to complete my WCA profile. So in terms of me as a speed cuber, I've got a lot of goals there. In terms of YouTube, I'm currently sitting on like probably 50 to 100 puzzles that I haven't unboxed yet. I've got a lot. So I'm looking forward to that, to making a lot of videos where I unbox those cubes. I'm in a new space. I'm in a new setup, as you can see behind me. Like, this is a new recording space. So looking forward to using this space to make some really cool, high quality videos. My kids are older than they have been, and they've sort of gone into like different stages of their childhood, adolescence. And so my videos with them will even take on a different character this year. They're not like, Ola's not a little kid anymore. So yeah, she's a different type of person and a different Cuba. So I don't even know like what videos with them will be like this year, but I'm excited to find out. This year, I'll just put it out there. Maybe they'll make it happen. I actually want to do something with my GAN mosaic cubes this year. Like, I have a lot of like those, the big like 10 by 10 like GAN mosaic sets. Like, I've got several of them, and I just haven't actually made anything like significant with them yet. And this year I want to make something this is where I'm being very ambitious. I want to make something that no one's ever made before. Something, not just like an image that no one's made before, but maybe like an animation, something like stop motion where like no one would have made before, because it's just insane.
And then final question, what will cubing look like in 5 years? Or cubing YouTube, should I say?
It will look very different is my safe answer. It's very safe to say it'll look different, because 5 years ago when I started, it was just the era of like, JR cubing and Sio the King, and JPerm was young in his cubing career, and there were just all these other cubers that no longer post content. And so in 5 years, I can confidently say it'll be the same. A lot of the big cubers right now will no longer be posting content, and that's fine. That's just life. There'll be a lot of new creators. I think it'll depend a lot on just where YouTube moves. That all the creators will just have to follow. And so if YouTube decides that it's going to focus on podcasts, for example, if it's going to knuckle down on YouTube Shorts, if it's going to create all these other ways of making the platform more friendly and interactive, that's where the cubing creators will follow. That's where I'll go, because you move where the platform moves. So I think it will depend a lot on where YouTube moves. A teeny part of me, the very cynical part of me, thinks there is a tiny chance that cubing could, I don't want to say it, could possibly have passed its peak in terms of general worldwide popularity. I feel like maybe not past its peak in terms of like it's on the down, but not growing anymore. Like, maybe it's sort of plateaued. Because it's safe to say that it's really risen in popularity in the last few years. Like, going to cubing competitions in Australia, at least, it's just like there are hundreds of people who have just discovered cubing. And so, yeah, it's huge. But if I think I've got my finger on the pulse. I feel like it's not maybe as novel as it was in the past. I think maybe in a few years ago, like if I didn't know anything about cubing and YouTube pushes this video about cubing on my, my homepage or whatever, on my recommended up next, it's like, oh, wow, what? They make cubes like that? And now I think for most people, they've already seen thumbnails like that. And if they've chosen not to watch it, they're not going to watch another one that's like that. And so I think maybe cubing on YouTube and cubing in general around the world, it's just less of a novelty than it was. You just see more speed cubes at the shops now. And so it's like, it's no longer this thing that you didn't know existed. It's like, yeah, I've known it's existed for a few years now. And I don't know. And so, yeah, I think maybe us cubing YouTubers have to work harder at engaging audiences and being creative and not hoping that the same thing keeps working.
I think for me, it's not just cubes, it's the spectator value of cubing comps. I feel like the average of 5 format isn't as spectator friendly. That's probably what it is.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I actually remember you mentioning that in another podcast that you've made. Man, that's another few hours worth of discussions, right? That we could go into if we talk about that. Because I actually think I've got pretty different views from you. That will be our little like carrot that we dangle for future podcasts, right?
So that was the Cuban Couch. Click over here if you want to watch another one. Anything else to say?
My friend here would like to say goodbye as well.